Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another session of Cowboys and Cthulhu, which is a uplifting story of just young folks out in the world making their way, with optimism, wide-eyed curiosity, definitely not extreme psychological and spiritual scarring from a variety of events that shall not be named. This is a continuation of a story we started telling and that we just enjoy. We enjoyed the setting. We love Call of Cthulhu, which is the base game, but we are using Call of Cthulhu Down Darker Trails, which is some modifications to enable us to tell a story in the Weird West. And we also are using a bit of Pulp Cthulhu. For those of you who have been with us before, we have increased the character's pulp level a bit to reflect their advancement, and we are going to be adopting some slightly modified character advancement rules as per the normal Call of Cthulhu set moving forward. And we covered all that before stream. Usually what happens is we just hang around and chat for a while on Twitch before we start recording. So hey, if you want to just hang around and chat and listen to how completely professional and well organized and planful we are, you should come and join us on Twitch, because that's what happens. Cool. So, hey, we have a new player and character who's going to be joining us a bit later. But before that happens, let's introduce the folks that are here now. And I think we'll start with you, Jack.
Hey, I'm Ericos, also playing Jack, back after a little bit of a hiatus. You can catch me here on C+ content and hanging out in channels of friends of the channel. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie, and you can also find me here and in various channel friends, especially Juices, hanging out there all the time. I'm playing Anna, who is the doctor who is very scared right now. Yeah.
I'm your only villain, or villain. I'm playing Felix. You can find me here at C+ content, other channels like Juices and some other ones. Felix is a gunslinger, kind of fast in the draw, likes to shoot things, and he's still wondering if he made the right decision of employer.
You're still wondering about that?
Yeah,
No, not at all. But it's
But it
fine.
pays so well.
It's true. It pays very well.
Correct.
There's a reason why he was like, I forgive you for being super skeptical about this, but here's a bunch of money. So, brief little recap. Some of these characters have known each other for a bit now. They had some slightly unpleasant experiences in Harwood, which is a prosperous mining town up in the mountains. And many of them were physically and emotionally scarred. They then spent a couple of months attempting to recover, variously vowing to never dip their toe in anything eldritch ever again. And, but the forces of fate conspired to bring them all together again in Denver and brought them under the employ of one Mr. Forrest, who is nice and helpful and knowledgeable and not sus at all. They have been investigating a series of, shall we say, unexplained deaths. Specifically, people being found dead with bits and pieces missing. But missing not in the they got chopped up with an axe kind of way, but they just kind of got taken / disappeared in an obviously unnatural way. They had a lovely experience at a morgue where some creature was busy harvesting bits from someone. They had a great, wonderful trip outside of town to the site where another victim had been found and experienced some sort of multi-dimensional, extremely horrific event, and had to flee from very disturbing creatures. Someone fell off a roof, and then everything was fine. And then you came back to town, and then one of your members' hand fell off and tried to kill you all. And then because you didn't bother chasing it or worrying about what was going to happen, it went upstairs and killed one of the maids and stole her body. And then Felix ran into it on the street. Don't worry about arson. he is not here tonight. Well, Chev isn't here tonight. He'll be back. He's totally fine because Minnie, the weird science photographer, built him a hand that uses radium, but like the specific kind of cursed radium around here, and that can't possibly go wrong. Anyway, after all this, everyone was completely fine, and then Jack shows up and says, hey, we should go to a seance, because I've been having fun winning a bunch of money gambling with the wealthy and influential here in Denver, and they all say we should go to this seance. Like, maybe there'll be some clues there. So Jack blithely leads you to a seance at Madame Solenne's house, and it went real well. It's very seance-y. So where we end is Anna has found out that there is a being known as the Piecemeal Man who wants her for his bride. She felt a presence behind her during the seance. She looked down to her shoulder and there was a wrapping or a bandage that just kind of apparated out of the ether onto her shoulder. So that's cool. There were a variety of strange warnings and portents. And now Madame Solène has gone full Insidious and is backward crab crawling on the ceiling. So yeah, that's where the action starts. What do you do?
Is she still on the ceiling, or has she fallen off the ceiling?
It's true. She was up on the ceiling. She did a little thing, and then she collapsed. You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
She collapsed. She is now on the floor, and various different servants and other people in the household are freaking out, including all the people, like the Old West Karen, who was there with you, are kind of like reacting in various different predictable ways, screaming, crying, pooping. I need to talk to a manager, that kind of stuff. So what happens?
Jack just points at somebody and says, "Go get a blanket."
Cool. Everyone's just running around. Unless you would like to make that a roll to see if you can cut through the general panic.
Oh, absolutely.
I think probably persuade if you're trying to be cool and calm and collected and logic based.
I mean, he's trying to be logical, but he's also just trying to kind of like just take charge. So kind of leaning more into like an intimidate.
I could be persuaded to intimidate. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not significantly different for my role.
It's 50% higher chance of succeeding.
I fail.
Okay. But you didn't get like a 96, or it was, yeah, you didn't get like a bad.
No, I got a 64 out of 15.
Yeah, I think it's just like everyone is yelling and shouting, and the servants don't know you. So
that's fair.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, maybe she needs some water, or it's just like a den of chaos. What happens?
Anna's backing away. I don't want to be here. This is freaking me out, guys. I feel bad that she's in the corner, collapsed, but at the same time, it doesn't sound like a me problem.
That is amazing demonstration of bedside manner and medical ethics.
Yeah, normally, Anna'd be right there, but I don't think this time it'd be very easy to administer treatment.
I mean, you can all
Is there
stay
a
here for a
blanket
while.
in the room that Jack can see right away that he could just like grab and like wrap around Madame Solène?
Well, there are like big hanging velvet drapes and things. There's not just like a
If
blanket.
that's all there is, Jack will absolutely just like rip one of the drapes down.
Okay.
To try and like wrap her.
Cool. Awesome. So you take it, you wrap her up in it, and she appears to be, well, she certainly isn't moving.
Is she breathing?
Give me a medicine check.
Yeah, because Jack's so good at
I
medicine.
know. Well, the doctor is right there, and she's just like, nope. Someone in obvious medical distress, not my problem.
Jack has no idea. It's not a 99.
Okay.
And he yells for Anna. He's like, Anna, I can't tell if she's alive or not.
Fine.
Just let her go, Anna. It's fine.
She had a good life.
Yeah.
32 out of where is it? Medicine. 80.
So you go over to examine her.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I'm standing behind Jack, but still.
Okay. Well,
coming
you
over
can't
to-
stand behind Jack and
Or
actually
like,
examine
where is
her.
she? I don't
She's
know where
on
she
the
is.
floor in the corner. Jack is
Okay.
over her, having wrapped her in. He's done his best to, like, I don't know, just like mash on her wrist to see. I was like, I don't feel a pulse. I don't know how the human body works.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I'm going to say you go up and you're probably checking
Yeah.
pulse, or maybe even pulling out a mirror from your doctor bag to see if there's any breath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
Jack's
check
checking
my
her
pulse.
pulse and like her foot.
Yeah. She have her shoulders. I don't feel a pulse. So you don't detect a pulse, but you know from prior experience with patients having episodes that doesn't mean that she's necessarily dead. So I'm going to say that you pull out the mirror to check for breath. You wait and you wait. At this point, a lot of people have like overturned chairs and tables. Like as soon as someone swept in to start taking care of it, many of the other attendees were like, okay, well, someone's got this. It isn't me. I'm out. I will say you're I think probably Minnie and Arson are helping to usher people out and keep anyone else from being injured, so they're probably out front. Although Minnie is probably thinking this would make a really great photo. And you don't detect any breath. However, the mirror does slowly become covered in a rime of frost. There's a crackling sound as ice forms on the surface. You then begin to hear the same crackling sound from the glass of the windows behind these thick curtains, from any exposed metal in the room. You begin to see in seconds a mist form as the temperature in the room drops precipitously. What do you do?
So you're saying that the frost is over all of the windows and stuff?
The windows are covered with the possible exception of the one that Jack ripped the drape off of. The windows have been covered this entire time with very thick velvet drapes, but you can hear the sound of the ice forming and cracking.
And then where's the mist forming? Is it over the table? Is it just like all over the room?
It's like it rises up out of the floor, a low frozen mist.
Felix is going to he's going to go over and pick up the girl that passed out. What's her name?
So, Madam Celine.
Yeah, Madame Celine, and then kind of put her on the table, and then
Okay.
he's going to jump up on the table as well.
Cool. So
Should we be getting on chairs, Jack?
Don't know.
cool. So
I mean, maybe you can pick up and put it on a table, I guess.
yeah, Felix just rushed into
And
action
then
and
stand
just
on
like
chairs or something.
pushed you guys out of the way, scooped up this woman and dumped her on the middle of the table, probably pushing off the crystal ball and stuff, and then hopped up beside her. You guys are still like, you guys have just watched this. So what do you do?
Follow over to the table Is it like hurting us to be in the mist? Is it too cold?
It's hard to tell because it's a little bit shocking.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you don't feel like you're about to die in seconds, but it's quite cold. It's certainly below freezing.
Oh no.
I mean, but that's just on the virtue of
table.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if the whole room is cold, just not in the midst.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But cold air does sink.
Yeah, goes and keeps ripping down the other drapes so we can all wrap ourselves up to stay warm.
Okay. So you are just walking from window to window, ripping down drapes.
Yep, just yanking stuff down, every single one.
Hey, make a spot hidden for me.
Let's see, that would be pretty good. 60 books that. I'm gonna use a chance to succeed.
Are you gonna push it?
Yeah, I've got to use 12 points of my luck.
Well, so here's another layer of complexity that we haven't typically done. You can outside combat push a roll, which means you can, like, if you fail, you can say, I'm going to roll it again. The downside is that there can be really disastrous consequences if you fail it again. So the consequences of failing, and it's good for me to presage what those consequences might be. So you can make an informed choice. The consequences of failing again is that you might miss some really problematic aspect of this situation and or a imminent threat. So you can now you can decide I want to spend 12 luck and for sure succeed, or I want to push it. Because you've got a decent chance of succeeding on a roll.
I do have a decent chance of succeeding, but I've also been rolling like trash, so I'm just going to use the 12 luck.
Awesome. And if you push a roll, you can't then use luck to make it a success afterwards.
Got it. That is good to know.
It's just an additional option for, like, if you're 30 off and you don't want to spend 30 luck.
Yeah.
And you don't have to push, just a thing. So you spend 12 luck.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
So although the windows are covered in a thick rime of ice, or thickening rime of ice, it's transparent enough that you can see outside. What you see outside is not what you expect to see. You are not intimately familiar with this neighborhood. But you certainly did approach this home. You are aware of the houses that are very nearby. Given the time of night, you would anticipate there to be lights. You would certainly expect to see at least the kind of shapes and forms of the bushes and the outhouse and the things that you know to be in the side yard. That is not what you detect outside at all. What you see is formless black, but that somehow you intuit is moving. There's a sense of presence and attention and movement, and you're not sure if you perceive it directly with your eyes or with some other latent sense, but it is formless blackness that is not empty.
Is it a formless sense of void, like a cloud around the house, or like the house inside of something?
Why don't you give me a sanity check, and we'll determine, based on the roll, what you intuit. Sometimes failing a sanity roll can give you insights into how things actually work.
Love that for me.
If you fail real bad.
So I actually don't fail this one, surprisingly enough. Okay. 39 out of 68, so exactly half.
Cool. Your rational mind dismisses. You have a moment of panic and feeling of imminent threat, but your rational mind asserts itself and immediately begins to think of it's trick of the light. It's cloudy outside. It started raining, or there's a fog outside. You start thinking of natural solutions, which keeps you from losing your mind, but also prevents you from gaining any further insight.
Gotcha.
What happens?
I dismiss it as just something logical that's preventing me from seeing the neighborhood as I would expect, and I just keep tearing the blinds down so everybody can stay warm while the frost keeps creeping around the room.
Awesome. So you bring a pile of these velvet drapes up, and yeah, it's cold. It's not, like I said, it's not deadly cold, at least not currently. So it's just more that like the sudden shock, and you're not in clothing that's suitable for this kind of weather. So anyone who wants to wrap themselves up in the drapes can do so. What happens now?
Jack, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, yeah. What happens now?
I followed Villain or Felix and Celine up onto the table, grabbed a little velvet blankie. Can I continue trying to treat Madame Celine, or see if I can wake her up, or if she really is dead?
Sure. On the basis of your prior role, I think you are coming to conclude that she is dead.
Oh, okay.
CPR.
Not a thing.
She
That does not mean.
practiced.
I would say that although CPR isn't necessarily a thing that exists in this time period, I would say that if you can come up with a creative application of medicine and with the supplies that you have on hand to attempt to revive her, because it's only been a few moments.
Yes, I do have medicine too. I have cocaine.
You have
That's like a heart starter, right?
yeah.
Can I just shove a bunch of cocaine?
I mean, you probably have liquid cocaine. You can do a Pulp Fiction cardiac thing situation if you want to. If you want to give it a try.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'm gonna say this is going to require a hard medicine check.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Because it's a combination of quickly preparing it, hitting the right spot, not giving too little or too much, and and it's an improvised procedure. So I think it's going to require hard, and hard means it just needs to be under half or under your score.
Okay, half or under on the threshold. Okay. Okay. I'm scared. Hey, but that's really good. That is I don't know if that's half. Hang on, I have to do math. Oh, yeah, that is half. I did a 36 out of 80.
Excellent. So you just make it. So while Felix and Jack kind of watch, Felix is probably, she's dead. Leave her alone. She's gone. Anna, now that she's decided that she actually wants to be a doctor in this case, very rapidly reaches into her bag, pulls out a big horse syringe, drops it into this jar full of liquid cocaine, and grabs a huge chunk of it and just stabs this woman in the heart and then hits the plunger. And yes, in fact, after like half a second, she begins to, spasm and convulse because you've given her an overdose of cocaine. But it is sufficient to start her heart. And now she's screaming incomprehensibly.
Is still possessed?
It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like either way I'd be screaming.
I'm gonna say she reaches up and just like her eyes are still closed, just reaches up and kind of violently grabs the syringe that's now sticking out of her chest and rips it out and throws it.
Wait, I need that.
I mean, that's a normal response. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna pick up my syringe though.
Yes.
You know you're not supposed to reuse, right?
Well, that's fine. I don't think they knew that. If I
Yeah.
clean it really well,
Yeah.
disinfect, it'll be fine.
Yeah, you just spit shine it, it'll be fine. Let a dog lick it.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it, you'll be good. So you are now you are hunting in the thickening mist for your syringe.
Well, I am attempting.
Excellent. Well, the good news is that you were dressed very nicely, so you probably have on gloves. The bad news is they're probably lace gloves, so they don't do very much to keep your fingers warm. So your fingers are going a bit numb as you blindly feel around in the mist for your syringe, and you do find something.
Why'd she have to throw it? It's a little rude for someone who just saved your life.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, you find something, or perhaps something finds you, as the object that you put your hand on begins to move under your hand. You think, hard to tell, your hands are a bit numb. What do you do?
Just scream and jump back.
I think that's worth a dodge.
Okay. Syringes don't move like that. So.
Well, you roll around.
Ooh. Not great. It is a 78 out of 60.
Ooh, well, you have some options. You can spend 18 luck. You could use the major boon, or you could push it. However, pushing it, again, carries threat of even worse things happening. I will say in this case, if you fail, your ability to get back to the table might be impaired for a bit.
Okay. I feel like I'll just use luck. We only have one boon. I don't want to use it yet. What if we need it?
Sure.
Well,
I will just say boons are a renewable resource if you beg the gods of chat. Luck is
fair.
much harder to get back. And 18 is a lot of luck.
I think we actually
You've
have
also
a
been
minor
rolling in
and
that
a
game, and you
major.
could probably push it.
Or you could just push it.
but
Yeah, push it.
it's just for a bit that it'll be impaired.
You don't know.
Oh, okay.
A bit could be the rest of your life.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, we have a major boon and a major bane. So you may use the major boon if you would like to switch the numbers or reroll, or you may push. I'm also going to say, since we're introducing pushing, that likewise when you push, you may not use luck to adjust the roll. If you push, you may not use a boon or bane. Or bane or
Okay.
Bane, yeah.
If no one's opposed, I'll use the boon.
Go for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna reroll because
Yeah.
swapping those won't do anything.
Roll a 96.
Oh, but that is much better. So it's a 24 out of 60.
Oh, which is a hard success. Excellent. So with cat-like reflexes, you leap back as something underneath the mist roils up where your hand just was. You see some dark shape. You can barely make it out, because it never fully emerges from the mist, almost like the mist clings to it somehow. But you see some inhuman shape rise up where your hand was just moments ago.
Is it one I recognize? Like, is it the...
It's literally just a suggestion of a shape through the mist. Not enough to identify what it is. It's probably not a person.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna run back to the table.
And I'm going to say
I
as that
can.
happens, the whole room moans.
I didn't know it was one of those kind of rooms.
Yes, there's a slight heaving. Those of you on the table feel suddenly as if you're on a boat in the ocean. There's a kind of a wave-like roll, and there's a disturbingly seductive moan that emanates from the room itself. By the look on Jack's face, I think that's probably worth a sanity check.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a sanity check.
Jack looked like he was making a sanity check in real life, so
Yeah, absolutely was. Failed with a 93
okay.
out of 68.
Okay. Anna, Felix.
I would say Felix probably takes a knee on the table. Little thing to know about Felix is he actually gets seasick.
Good. Awesome.
So he is definitely going to go to one knee and kind of.
And what was the result of your sanity roll, Felix?
I didn't.
I won't apply a penalty for the seasickness because I'm kind of benevolent.
76 out of 77.
Ooh, excellent. Just by the skin of your teeth.
Yes.
And Anna?
I got a 7
Ooh, excellent.
out of 55, but
Excellent. So hard success. Wonderful. I'm gonna say none for Anna and Felix, because Anna's success was very good and Felix probably closes your eyes and you're mostly just dealing with the motion sickness. For Jack, I think it's a D8.
Okay.
And just let me know if you get a
Only
5 or
one.
higher. Oh, good. So, I mean, oh rats. So I had a plan for what happened if you had a moment of insanity. We'll just save that for later. Cool.
I would say you got a major bane if you want me to have a moment of insanity.
It's fine. Cool. So yes, you weather the storm quite well. It's just a moaning room. It's fine. And I assume Anna clambers back up on the table.
yeah. And I turned to my friends. I'm like, guys, don't go in the mist. Whatever you do, it's not great. It's not bad. Or it's not, it is bad. It's not great at all. This is just the safety table. Okay?
Yes.
Anna, you're not making any sense. I don't think you should go in that mist anymore.
That's what I'm telling you.
So what happens?
Well, we should probably get out of this house. Or at least out of this room, maybe? I mean, does it look like it goes into other rooms?
What other rooms? There are windows.
Oh, I thought we were in like a house, right?
You are. As you look around, there was a door, kind of a servant's entrance. Probably goes back toward the kitchen. That was very near, where Madame Selene fell. And then there was the door, kind of catty corner from that, back on the other side of the room where you had entered.
Mm-hmm.
Those doors no longer exist.
Oh,
Okay.
And without a roll, the walls seem further away.
oh.
Maybe it's just the perspective of being on the table, but the room seems a bit larger than it was before.
What is the girl doing between her that's laying down in between us?
She is
She's still
now
screaming.
she probably screamed until her throat was raw and then started coughing, and then probably her eyelids fluttered, and then she just went rigid and passed out. She straight up OD'd. Okay. But she's alive for now. You could dose her with laudanum or opium, just like try to balance it out.
Can we reach the chairs? Like around the table?
Absolutely.
I do have.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I do have that.
Laudanum? Yeah.
I'm gonna
Do
go
the
ahead
table and chairs seem any bigger, or does this the room seem bigger?
It's specifically the distance from where you are to the walls seems somewhat greater.
We like throw the chairs out like stepping stones, crawl
That's
over
what I was
them.
gonna do. I was gonna do a little bit of the floor is lava and use the chairs and kind of make like a.
One of y'all will have to
So I can
carry
stay
her on your back. As
That,
I'm
somewhat
trying to.
above.
that is quite clever. So Felix, I would like you. I think this is more dexterity than strength, because it's more
Okay.
about balance than it is about. I mean, because you can lift a chair, right? So I think
Yeah.
we'll abstract this as to your ability to balance, etc. I am, however, going to be real mean and ask you to make a hard dexterity roll, because the table is still rocking and rolling. And as you look at the
Okay.
chairs, they are likewise doing this. So you are attempting to be very dexterous and precise in jumping and moving and jumping from chair to chair while you are suffering from seasickness.
So that would bring my 80 down to what?
40.
40. Okay. I got a 12.
Wow. So you got a hard success against your hard success. So well done. So Felix's self-preservation and iron will kick in. You stuff down the nausea and focus less on the strangeness of the surrounding and more on the task at hand. And you grab a chair, move it, kind of have to hop back up on the table and go grab another chair and move it. And so where are you trying to build a floor is lava path to?
One of the windows.
Yes. I'm going to say you do.
Okay.
With that,
I'm gonna go ahead and look out.
excellent success. Yes. So, much as I described to Jack, it is, you think at first, a formless void that is most definitely not empty. There is definite movement to the void. And I'm going to say you orient yourself towards it a bit, maybe scrape off a little bit of the frost to get a clearer view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an ocean. It's like an ocean on a moonless night. That sense of presence and motion was the waves. And now that you're up close to the wall, you can hear them lapping on the exterior of this room.
I would say Felix probably sees that and goes, ugh. Kind of looks away from the window and is like, oh gosh, no, this can't be true. And then I would say that he goes, maybe this is like a trick of the mind, kind of how when we went to the bridge, where we climbed up on the roof, and maybe it was where the darkness was actually a more of a find the word for it, kind of like an illusion. So he's gonna go ahead and just break out one of the windows.
Okay. I think that's just strength then.
Uh, 31 out of 50.
Oh, very, very good. So we'll say you maybe pick up a little side table or something.
I was gonna say he probably just pulls out his pistol and just smashes it out.
That works just as well. So you smash out the window. It's actually quite easy. Maybe because the glass is so cold, it makes it extra brittle. And also maybe you're have a sense of urgency, so you're just whacking the crap out of it. You might notice, but certainly Jack and Anna watching notice that as Felix is pounding away at this window, the wall itself is shaking. You know this building to be probably brick with like a coating over the top to make it smooth, whatever that's called, stucco. You know what I'm saying? But it's a quite solid building. But as he's hitting around this window, and like as his forearm hits up against the outer casement of the window, the whole wall bows and shakes as if it is quite insubstantial. You're on mute there.
Airthos, you're muted.
Jack starts to freak out a little bit and says, Felix, what the hell's happening?
He's gonna. Felix is gonna turn around real quick and go, what do you mean? What's happening? Because I would assume with Felix being so close to the wall, I don't see it.
Yeah,
Scene, right?
it's much easier to see from before, from back a bit.
The whole wall is shaking. It's like as if it's not brick.
Well, we are currently on an ocean compared to what this window system.
You mean an ocean? We're in Denver. There's no water for miles.
That's not what it says outside. Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to climb over here, you could hear it lapping against the side of the brick building.
Well, if we're no longer in a house and we're in a boat, then I think we'd want to go up and not out, right? Unless you know how to swim.
Yeah,
So Anna,
don't worry about your swimming skill. That's more like your ability to do something more than like to swim a long distance without losing your breath or dive or whatever. Does everyone actually know how to swim? It's quite common, but it doesn't mean that you would know how. So Jack does not know how to swim. Felix does.
No.
Anna, do you know how to swim?
I feel like yes, I would have been taught.
Well, you grew up, yeah, you
Yeah.
grew up on the coast.
Yeah, so I feel like I know how to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're used to donning multiple layers of heavy wool bathing suit to go out and paddle in the breakers. Yes.
Anna's got leg strength for days.
Right.
But if it's like the flood and the river we saw when we were at the bridge, then it'll either start to drown us or you'll fall in and that, like you'll just be we won't be able to communicate. There's two different reactions.
So when we were at the bridge with that, what happened was is I fell off the roof and I fell out of the situation. So kind of thinking this is the same situation where it's this room or this house that is the problem and we need to escape the issue.
Yeah, I can't rule out that. It's so hard to tell what it'll do because in the beginning, you and Arson almost drowned just on the air. But I mean, I feel like maybe worth a try. I don't know.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Is there a chandelier or something above the table?
There was.
Is there anything on the ceiling now?
I mean, there isn't a ceiling.
What's above my head?
Well, at some distance above your head, there's kind of just a vague mistiness. Can't tell if it's 10 feet up or 1,000 feet up. And as you stare longer, there are lights twinkling through the mist. Stars, maybe. One is a deep carnelian orange. It's large for a star. It doesn't twinkle so much as it throbs and pulses. And almost as if your eyes are adapting to the darkness or just the environment in general, you begin to pick out other specks of light. A pair of green stars, emerald green, that as you watch them appear to move, almost circling each other, you see, as you stare, constellations of stars beginning to pop into the sky above you. These are no constellations you've seen before.
Jack is just terrified right now.
I think that's another sanity check.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Just barely 61 out of 67.
You somehow manage to hold it together. You are Anna, who is standing next to you, just notices that you have stood stock still in the middle of this kind of gently rocking table. You probably stopped like stumbling back and forth as it would rock and started like rocking with it, like limber your hips. So you're rocking with it. Anna is just staring, unblinking straight up and shaking.
Jack, like just give him a pat on the shoulder, try to pull his attention.
Yeah. I mean, you're free to do as you wish because you made your sanity check.
You okay, bud?
I don't know where we are anymore.
Yeah.
Crack, squeal, splash. One of the walls falls.
Do I see anything beyond the wall?
Water. Ocean.
Is the water below the floor? Or is the water like rushing into the room now?
It's not rushing into the room. It's hard to tell because of the mist. But it appears to be probably 6 or 8 inches higher than the level of the floor. But like you don't see any like wave or hear anything.
Yeah.
There's a slurping, splashing sound as the falling of the wall obviously kicks up some waves, and you can hear or feel little waves hitting the legs of the table that you're on. You see some of the chairs that Felix had placed to get over to the wall kind of lift up momentarily and float a bit before setting back down. Groan, squeal, crack, splash. Another wall falls.
I'm going to run back over to the table. Well, back over to the table. And I'm going to pick up Madam and hop back over to the window and go, all right, guys, I'm going to try it.
Give me a hard dex check.
Okay.
Because now you're not only having to fight seasickness, but you're having to fight the fact that the chairs have moved a bit.
21?
Ooh. Out of what, 40?
40. That would be hard, right?
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So Felix just like stepping stones just books it over the chairs and lands on the table and starts scooping up the woman. Pop, pop, pop. Squeal. Splash, splash. The other 2 walls give way.
Well, there goes my idea of jumping out the window.
Is there still a crystal ball on the table?
You knocked it off. You can go look for it. I think Felix swept off the various kind of
Yeah,
decorations
I-
on the table when
Yeah.
he
More or less just kind of took the whole
Yeah.
table and just everything onto the floor.
Okay.
Peek over the side of the table, try to find it.
Okay. Spot hidden for me if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Ooh, a 14 out of 55.
Cool. I'm gonna need you to make a sanity check because that's gonna determine what you actually see.
Okay. A 93 out of 55.
Ooh. Okay. Well, we're fresh out of major boons.
Yeah.
You could push it.
What's the consequences if I do?
I think the consequence of you pushing it and failing is you get a lot of really interesting information. It just breaks your mind a little. It might even give you a revelation as to what's happening.
That's
You'll just be insane.
temporarily, right?
I mean, probably. Depends on how you roll.
Okay,
I roll a 99, Katie.
I want to push it, but
Okay.
just for my understanding with the new rules, so if I pass it,
If
I
you see,
probably won't see anything.
oh no, you'll see something. It's just, because you are in the setting that you're in.
Mhm.
Your so succeeding on a sanity roll means that your rational mind is able to effectively insulate you from the madness inducing environment or event. You're able to rapidly rationalize or dissociate or something such that you don't really bear the full brunt of what you're perceiving. So the good news is you don't suffer sanity loss or you suffer minimal sanity loss. The bad news is that sometimes opening your mind to the unthinkable can grant you insight. But it also makes you crazy, right? So
Yeah.
because you passed your spot hidden, you're going to get good information. The question is whether you go a little insane, a lot insane, or not at all. Right now you have failed, so you can push it to try to succeed.
I feel like I want to leave it as a fail. There's no one here to stop me. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so you leave it as a fail.
Yeah.
You're definitely not required to push. So you fail. Well, probably because of the creature upon whose back you are riding. It is difficult to get a sense of the full scale, but it's big. You get a sense of ridges, unpleasant orifices, tentacle-like appendages writhing beneath you. I think, and there's more information, but that's a fail on insanity. I think that's a D10.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like a turtle.
No,
It
not
doesn't
at
sound
all.
like a table.
Also very true.
Oh, there's only 2.
Oh, drat. So yes, you see the creature, but you have you don't fall into rapturous examination of the thing. And you begin to look around elsewhere. And maybe it rises up a bit out of the water, enough that to kind of jostle everyone. And you can just see detritus from the room. The light things have floated away or been carried away by currents. But specifically to answer your question, yes, there is a crystal ball and it is stuck in one of these orifices. And with that slight moment of insanity, I'm going to say you also see beyond the creature, like over the edge, kind of in the direction. You're getting a sense that there's a little bit of movement, like it's moving in a direction. You cast your eyes in the direction that you feel like you're moving, and you see something far below in the water. Light, in fact. Warm, yellowy orange, inviting.
Like candlelight?
It's a little not flickering quite as much. There maybe is a bit of flicker. I'm going to say you don't have a frame of reference to be able to identify what you're seeing, but you do see a constellation. But unlike the strange and upsetting constellations above, this light is warm. And although there's a pattern, it seems regular, ordinary in a way, unlike the stars that so fascinate Jack.
Did you find the crystal ball there, Anna?
Can I reach it from where?
Oh, you can get down and walk over to it, probably.
You say get down and walk over
Yeah,
to
get
it.
down off the table, walk across the back of this ancient eldritch creature, and go grab the crystal ball that's stuck in one of its unpleasant orifices. It's an easy task.
So, guys, the slight problem. Are you guys seeing this? This is crazy. It's in a place that's not. I mean, it's easy to get to, but it's not and I don't know what kind of creature it's stuck to, but it's ridgy and tentacly.
I mean, I think you're the most qualified one for the job, Anna. For being honest.
Oh yeah, I was just hoping for a better pep talk.
You can do it. I'm gonna keep an eye on you from right here.
Covers
Not too
head
close
with
of an eye.
drape.
Yeah, like takes a drape tie and just goes, nope. Okay. Sure. What are we getting the crystal ball for again? Maybe it'll
Don't know.
help us see through this nonsense.
I mean, I could, if you point it out to me, I may be able to just shoot it.
Well, but what if it's a helpful tool?
What if it's the thing that's causing this?
We're at an impasse here.
I mean, it could be both. I mean, if we get it and it doesn't appear to be a tool, then it's easy enough to break it once we have it. Hypothetically. Right?
And
I mean, we could throw it at the creature's head and then Felix could shoot it, and if you miss it, maybe you hit the creature.
that's fair. Narratively speaking, I know just the players aren't here, but are Arson and Minnie trapped in here with us, or did they? Okay,
They were helping people get out in the jungle
Okay.
crush.
That's what I
panic.
thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Fine. Hold my medicine bag. Or should I take it? I don't know.
Holding.
No, I'm gonna take it. Hold the first aid kit. I'm gonna
Okay.
hold the bag, because then I can put the crystal ball in the bag if I need to. But keeping everything else. Oh no, this is scary.
Cool. So it's not that hard. I mean, it's a smooth, undulating surface moving underwater, but with reasonable care. You're not the most dexterous, but I'm going to say the chances of you just slipping and falling are relatively low. However, I'm curious how lucky you are.
I have 49 luck.
Yes. Roll it.
Oh, I see. Hey, that's an 11.
Hey.
Cool, Major Bane.
Okay.
What'd you get there?
Oh, wait, so I thought the major bane was just an automatic fail.
No, re-roll it.
Oh, okay.
If I want something bad to happen to you and I want it to be a certainty, I'll just make it happen. I mean, sorry, Cthulhu will make it happen.
That is an 8.
Wow. Something is working in your favor. You go to reach for the crystal ball, and you start to just grab it, and then something occurs to you, like touching this thing with your bare hands might be a bad thing.
Oh.
Like physically coming in contact with this giant eldritch creature might be problematic. So I'm going to say you have your bag, not all the equipment, but you have your bag, and you reach in and grab something, forceps, I don't know. Some piece of equipment to enable you to extract the crystal ball from this orifice with a audible without actually touching the skin of this beast. It's a little
Okay.
slimy. And there is a sickening whoosh of foul air that blows out and kind of bubbles under the water and sprays you a little bit, and just the smell is awful. But you don't make direct skin to skin contact with it, some giant elder tor, which is probably a good thing.
Probably.
Lucky Anna. How dare you?
I want to run back to the table.
Do you want to run back?
What? Well, carefully, calmly make
All
my
right.
way to the table, mentally running.
Because your dex isn't that high.
Yeah.
So you're intentionally, very carefully and calmly making your way back. There are a few moments as like a shudder goes through this creature. You start to maybe lose your balance a bit. Moments of suspense. But yes, you were able to crawl back up onto the table, your skirts and petticoats soaked for about 6 inches from the hem. They tangle around your boots as you climb up. But you are back on the table. What
That
happens
was
now?
the worst. That was the worst idea ever. And no one should touch that thing, I feel like.
You did a great job, Anna. Fantastic job.
Thanks.
Wait, what thing are you talking about? The ball or what?
Well, you can't really see it, but just trust me, if you do see something that's all like slimy and orificey and tentacly, just don't touch it.
Felix?
And, I mean,
Wait, is that not your normal rule of thumb?
well, I almost had to to get the ball. It was like stuck. It's
Felix, as Anna is talking about this, because you probably have been doing your best to just focus on the table and not look at the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
As Anna is talking to you about tentacles and orifices, you can't help yourself but to glance out, and as you do, some massive, thicker than a tree trunk tentacle rises up out of the water and just kind of dumbly, like this doesn't look like intent, just kind of waves over you all and then kind of flops back into the water with a loud crash and splash. The drippings. Go ahead and dodge for me. I'll be nice.
Okay.
Everyone.
No penalties.
Nope.
That's 31 out of 40.
Excellent.
66
got it.
out of 70.
Cool.
I got a 76 out of 60.
Okay. So as this thing comes over, Jack crouches down and pulls up the velvet curtain. Felix, just like you tilt your hat into it and kind of pull up the collar of your duster. Anna just looks up. Ooh, tentacle.
I was like, oh.
You all hear the sizzle as the drippings hit you. Anna feels it. You expect it to burn, but it's a deep, aching, cold feeling. Like the deepest cold you've ever felt in your life. Roll a d4 for me, please.
3.
You take 3 harm. As you feel a tightness on your face and a little bit of exposed where your neck and shoulder join. What happens?
Well, I feel like with that, without like going too far to fall off the table, and I'll pull back a little and try to pull the curtain like closer, shivery.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, oh no.
But you have the crystal ball.
Yeah.
What happens?
Like wipe off the goo and hold it up so we can all see it and just blindly look in it.
Cool. You see a face. This is not a face that you recognize. It is not familiar exactly. Although I would say maybe Jack. Like, you don't know the name, but you could swear that you've, first of all, very striking young woman. So you could have sworn that maybe in some of your socializing in Denver over the past couple of days, you have seen this face, but not someone that you have been properly introduced to. Elaine.
Yeah, so is this a face that I would recognize as having acquired money from, or just somebody that I've
Just
maybe
someone
like
who
seen
was,
out and about?
yeah, just someone who maybe was present at some of the events that you've been to. Not someone that you have necessarily, interacted with in any great, to any great extent, and certainly not someone that you have been, like I said, actually introduced to that you would know.
Okay.
So, this is what has happened, Elaine. So, one of your contacts, I wouldn't say a friend, but someone that you know from the occult scene in Denver, one Madame Selene, who you know to be, she's not exactly a grifter. She definitely has the sight, but she uses it in ways that perhaps you don't entirely approve of, and uses it to entertain and to make money, and is not above playing it up a bit, playing up her exoticism, playing up the prejudices of the majority society here in Denver to make some coin. So again, not that she doesn't take it seriously, but she uses it uses her gift in ways that perhaps you don't approve of. You had a portent that the seance at Madame Selene's tonight would be troubled, and that perhaps events would transpire that could put others in danger, and you felt compelled to come. You arrived just in time to see guests, some screaming, some yelling loudly and complaining. One woman in a very severe kind of bottle blonde bob, talking about how she needs to speak to the manager, walking off into the night. And as you approached, you were met by a young woman carrying a very, very large wooden box with a lens on the outside, and a grizzled man with a mechanical hand, a little odd, who gave you as much of a rundown as you could take, which was, our friend Jack said we should come here. He said it would be fine. We went to this seance. Things got super duper weird. The lady slammed herself up on the wall and did a reverse crab walk and then fell down. She might be dead. And our friends are in there. And we're not quite sure what to do. And there's probably some argument between Arson and Minnie about, should we go back in the house? It's like, we should definitely not come back in the house. It's like, look, I don't have a hand anymore. I'm not going back in the house. So as that is happening, you have an opportunity to follow your instincts. And you burst your way into the room. You go into the salon, and it is empty. There are a few chairs lying on the floor. There's obviously been a bit of a disturbance in here, but there is no one. And I will say your spiritual sensitivities inform you that there is no one alive in this house. You are alone. Can you spot hidden for me?
I do for that.
So you're going to roll a percentile. And you're looking to meet or get at or below the percentage rating on your spot hidden.
Okay.
If listen is higher, listen will work too.
No, my spot hidden is way higher.
Cool.
And it's just 1 percentile?
Yeah, so yeah, roll a D100 basically.
Okay.
So 2d10, 1's a 10s, 1's a 1s. Low is always better.
Okay. 43.
And your spot hidden is?
75.
All right. So table talk. Tuff is joining us. Welcome, Tuff. Yay. We'll introduce you. I mean, fans of the show know who you are, but we'll introduce you when we go back around. So, but you arrived at the exact perfect time. So couldn't have planned it better. But this is your first time playing Call of Cthulhu. So we're going to do a little bit of rules walkthrough and a reminder for other folks. So, yes. So there's a hard success, which is if you get 50% or lower than your score. So like if your target is 60 and you roll a 30, that's a hard success. And then there's an exceptional success, which is, or whatever that's called, which is if you get 20% or below. We kind of feel it out, do the math as needed. So that is a regular success. That is enough for you to have, you're alone, but there are people here. There are people here that are in danger. There are people here who are swiftly moving further away from this world. And if they get too far, they will never come back. You look around the room. You recognize some rather unseemly ritual implements that you don't really like. But your eyes alight on the crystal ball still sitting in the center of the seance table. As you move closer, you see a face in it. A face of a man that perhaps you noticed in and around the salons and gambling houses of Denver over the past couple of days. What happens?
Jack screams, "Get me the hell out of here."
And you hear it.
Okay.
It's as if it's very echoey. It's as if from a great distance. And there's a kind of delay. You see the face moving, and then you start to hear like echoes, only they're before the sound actually hits. Just like juddery, shuddery sounds, and then eventually it manifests as, "Get me the hell out of here."
It's the worst Western Zoom call ever.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. You're breaking up. Sorry, I'm rereading through all of my stuff because I don't remember what all I have.
No worries. I will say none of your ability to gain arcane to gain insight, supernatural insight into the past, present, and future might be useful, but you think that time is of the essence, and that takes a few minutes. So you don't have to like pick a skill or anything. You can simply describe what it is that you would like to do, and I will let you know if there's a role involved and what that role entails.
Okay. I think probably looking around the room, I know that there's been some stuff that's happened that I don't necessarily approve of, but probably know of.
Yes.
So maybe I'm like racking my brain trying to think of like a counter spell that will kind of undo whatever has trapped them.
Yes. Make an occult roll for me. Ooh, it's the first time we've rolled occult. It's because the first time we've had someone who knows occult.
An 11.
Oh, 11 under 75?
Yep.
Wow.
Go BB!
Excellent.
Oh my god!
So,
Join the gang with a bang.
yes. You are familiar enough with Madame Celine's practices to recognize the sigil on a wall hanging. It is a sigil of the Lord of the Crossroads, Baron Samedi, in her religion. He is the one who navigates between life and death. He is the one who opens the doors. You think that you could, as loath as you might be to do so, you could implore his aid.
Alright, yeah, I will do that, since I assume I don't have a lot of time to come up with another option.
All right. So, what I would like you to do is I would like you to, and you want to retrieve everyone, yes?
Yeah, because I heard Minnie and Arson talking about there being multiple people, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
assume
yeah.
there's
And you know, you've got, this is a little bit of an abstraction, but so
Yeah.
I'm going to say I need you to spend 4 magic points. And then I would like you to roll a d4.
1.
Cool. You take 1 sanity. So reduce your sanity by 1. So you're doing quite well. You didn't go insane.
Yay!
So what you get, and you're not even sure if you believe, right? In your experience, what many cultures call gods are either made up things, explanations for the side of life and reality that you, since birth, have had contact with. Just human explanations for the inexplicable, or they are ancient and old and deadly and evil. You're not quite sure what this is, but it's the only thing you can think of. So you rack your brains for something to say, and say, opener of the ways, Lord of the crossroads, find a path for these people to return. Do not let them be lost in the great formless dark. Just like just instinctively chanting. You, Jack, and I would say everyone hear this, and it's in a similar kind of delayed, juddery kind of way. You immediately feel the creature beneath you rock and roll as if it's been annoyed, like a horse with a burr under its saddle. And then the light that you saw beneath the waves grows tremendously, almost as if it's rushing toward you, enough that you stumble back as the table rocks underneath you, and you nearly fall off and have to catch each other as this vast form, sharp angles, barely lit by this golden glow, thrusts itself toward you, thinking it's going to overtake you, crash into you. It takes you a moment, but you start to recognize what you're looking at. You are looking at Denver, but from a vantage point that none of you have had an opportunity to view Denver. Maybe Felix, you've been up in the mountains above, maybe camping at night. That's what chips you into realizing you're looking at Denver from above. Elaine, our world and whatever space these people are trapped in, the distance between it has been closed. All that's required is that they take the step.
I would say with Felix seeing Denver and then kind of land instead of the ocean, I think he would probably do what he was trying to do with the window, which is snatch up the girl and take the leap.
Cool. So Felix just intuits, right? He's like, I don't know what's going on, but I see something familiar. He snatches up the unconscious body of Madame Selene and then just jumps in. What did Jack and Anna do? And Elaine.
Follow.
Yeah, I mean, Jack is confused a little bit, but he's gonna be like, "Hey, if this is how I go, I guess this is how I'm gonna go."
At least we all go together. Anna's following Felix.
Yeah, Jack will do the same.
So Elaine, as you go to say, you just have to take the last step. I've brought the worlds together for you, but you only have moments. You have to take the leap. They just do it anyway. You're just trying to say this as they just fly. It's like,
Okay.
As you dive in, as you sink more rapidly than you would imagine, as you plummet past this. By the way, this creature is quite broad, quite large around. It is much, much longer. Think Man of War.
No.
With tendrils and body parts that extend miles. So you go from plummeting through water to falling as this writhing mass of awfulness, insensible to your presence, just writhes and shudders next to you. I would like a luck roll from everyone who is currently plummeting from one reality to another.
Yeah. 38 out of 50.
Awesome.
A 44 out of 49.
Wow. And Felix?
I got a 3 out of 56.
Oh, wow. That's super unfortunate. Somehow you all managed to avoid coming in contact with the thrashing tentacles. Your lives would have been so much more interesting if you hadn't succeeded.
I don't doubt that.
But oh well. You fall and you fall and you fall. Everything's hazy, everything's dark. I mean, you're falling into deep water, but you're moving too quickly, and the pressure against your skin is not what you would expect it to be for moving through thick water. It starts to thin. The image of Denver becomes suddenly very, very sharp. As you fall, you see there's another haze. Anna, who has been in some like fully industrialized cities, to you it looks like smoke, like thick coal smoke that sometimes lays over cities like Pittsburgh, for example. It is granular. It's almost like a black dust hanging over Denver, like a shroud. And then you punch through it. And you are free falling towards a very familiar house. Yeah, I think dexterity hard for everyone who's currently falling out of the sky. I mean, it's gonna hurt.
That like it's a normal thing that people do.
It's gonna hurt, but I think there should be some roll to see if you manage to not break your neck when you fall.
Not great. I'll be a 76 out of 40 since that's hard.
Okay. Felix? Anna?
I got a 20 out of 40.
Ooh.
I got a 5 out of 30.
Oh my goodness. Cool. So, Jack lands.
Mhm.
Roll a d8 for me, please.
2.
Cool. Jack lands. And from your perspective, Elaine, they just like, you look up, you know what's coming, and you see someone fall somewhat transparent through the ceiling of this room. And then the instant they clear, they snap into full physical reality and then just crash into the table. The damage that you take, as minimal as it is, Jack, everyone's a little lucky tonight, is not from landing on the table, because the table snaps in half, absorbing a lot of the momentum. So ordinarily it would just be bumps and bruises if it weren't for the fact that Anna and Felix land on top of you.
Thank God this was here to catch it all. Oh, it's Jack. Oh, it's Jack.
And then Felix, I need you each to roll a d4.
I got 4.
Oh.
You got a 3.
So you land on Jack, which should cushion your landing. The problem is that the broken pieces of the table that Jack has crashed into jab into you. So you actually, so although Jack was the first to land, you actually wound up taking the least damage. So
Jack, is that your pistol in your pocket, or did we land on something else?
No, that looks to be the table leg.
Oh.
I'm sure you do have a table leg in there.
yes. And I will say that Madame Solène probably takes a little bit of damage, but she is out.
She's fine. She's taking a nap.
There's a little bit of foam at the corner of her mouth. Oh, you missed this, Elaine. While in that other, well, actually before leaving, this woman that you have met before that you're somewhat suspicious of, Madame Solène, died. And Anna, however, is a physician, and very quick thinking, reached into her doctor bag, grabbed a syringe and a bunch of liquid cocaine and shot it into her heart, which brought her back to life, but also overdosed her.
And then
Anna's a Wild West doctor, so like her entire bag is full of cocaine, laudanum, opium, you name it.
Yeah, we balanced her out. She got opium too, so she's just napping.
Yeah, it's fine. She's wrecked forever, but that's totally fine.
Don't worry, she's
alive.
Yes. But yes, you are back in the parlor. What happens? First of all,
Tell me there's some bourbon around.
Yeah, and it's like, I want to cry and I want to drink.
What do Anna, Jack, and Felix see? Who do Anna, Jack, and Felix see?
Is it?
I mean,
So I would say Felix.
No, I'm asking Elaine to
describe
describe herself and let people know how she is being in this moment.
yeah. I think she's kind of tucked herself a bit into the corner and has just been watching. She looks very curious. Blue eyes, very long curly red hair. Lovely dress, very complimenting. She is just like drop dead gorgeous. You know, the whole shebang. And then, yeah, as they land, I think she has probably taken the crystal ball and is kind of just standing there with it and just kind of like stroking it.
Like, yes, my precious.
Yes, I did it.
So
Which corner is Elaine standing in?
Uh,
Is it the spooky corner?
I mean, they're all spooky corners.
They're all
What are you
spooky
talking
corners.
about?
I'm just gonna be like, look, no one has a great track record with corners tonight. I wouldn't stand over there.
I just wanted to be out of the way, you know, because you all made your entrance so smashingly.
Yeah, speaking of entrances, can we exit this house and go to someplace that feels like dry land without a bunch of broken wood in my back?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. We'll get off of check now.
Dear.
We've just still been sitting on them.
Yep. I will say you can make your way out into, I was going to say into the foyer, but you probably want to leave the entire structure. Make yourself out into the yard. And if you would like to do a little first aid.
Yeah. Take care of.
Yeah.
Check
I would say
everyone
I would
out.
say roll 3 up for yourself, Jack and Felix.
Okay. Can I also check on Madame Celine just to make sure she
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure she doesn't need more opium.
Yeah, well, sometimes need more than one dose. 69 out of 80 for the first one for Jack.
Jack, heal 1.
Oh, 4, which I'm gonna give to Madame Celine, I think, just to make sure she's actually not dying.
Wow. Yeah. Well done.
I feel like I feel like every time I want to help her, I feel like I do worse. And then a 15
Which is
out of
80?
out of 80.
I mean, it's great. It's still 1.
Yeah.
And we'll just make it easy. Everyone gets 1 back.
Okay.
Cool. And this just represent like pulling out splinters of wood, maybe putting a little bit of a wrap around someone's ankle to stabilize it. I mean, it was not a pleasant experience. You all took some bumps and bruises, but no one is on death's door. You think the problem with Madame Selene is more extreme. She doesn't seem to be at risk of dying, but you are concerned about her ability to fully recover because she was dead. And then she was in another world after having been overdosed with cocaine. Also, as you were examining her, please, would you go ahead and give me a spot hidden?
Yeah. A 27 out of 55.
Cool. She has a new symptom. A discoloration of the skin. Perhaps an abrasion? Some sort of contact dermatitis? It's in lines, though. Short strokes, jagged. And as you watch, more appear. Spreading. Strange symbols. As if below her skin, someone had written something in ink, and it's now just slowly coming to the surface. Because all y'all were real lucky, but I'm gonna say she wasn't.
Oh no, we're trying so hard to keep her alive. And Zero's just like, no.
It doesn't appear to be causing her any harm physically.
Yeah.
Would you like to read what it says on her body?
Yeah.
Cool. Why don't you roll a Cthulhu Mythos for me?
Okay.
You don't have a high score, but you could push it. You could roll
That
real
is
well.
What is the consequences if I push it?
Did you fail?
Yeah.
I think the consequences if you push it and fail are probably less than if you push it and succeed. They're not going to be good.
Okay.
What'd you get?
I got an 87 out of 10.
Ooh, on the push roll?
No,
Oh, you
on
haven't
the
pushed it
first
yet.
roll.
Okay.
No, because I'm debating, and also to fully concrete Elaine into this, I feel like I also might just look up and like look over at her and kind of take in her presence in the situation, and then be like, "Hi, do you happen to know? Is this a friend of yours? She's got some weird writing on her. I can't really make sense of this, but I feel like it's weird, and you not in a bad way, in a fantastic way. You look like you know things about weird things, just like a few of the rest of us. So, would you be inclined to assist us in some light reading on this fine evening?" Anna's turning redder and redder as each word rambles out.
Would you like maybe some tea, some light supper?
You think I have some more cocaine? Do you want that?
Sure.
Right.
It's liquid form already, so just a shot, do you in.
Well, I wouldn't say that we were friends, but practitioners, sure. I can take a look.
All right. So for you, you can choose to also roll Cthulhu Mythos. Or if you would like, you could augur. Take a few moments and cast the spell to get an insight magically.
Sure, let's do that.
Cool. So go ahead and roll 1d2. So like a d6 divided by 3 or a d4 divided by 2. Round down.
2.
Okay, so 2 so 2 total?
Well, I have my little coin, so yeah.
Oh, perfect. 2. Lovely. So take 2 sanity. Spend 4 magic points. And then I would like you to make a power roll, which for you is going to be almost certainly a success because your power is exceptional. That's POW under the very top.
Okay. I got a 44.
Excellent, which is a hard success. So for everyone else, you witness instead of Elaine going and like getting up close and trying to read these gradually forming symbols, instead Elaine does what? How does your casting look?
I think I come and just kind of stand over the body, and I've got the crystal ball in one hand, and then the other hand is extended over it. And then like the eyes roll back, and there's low chanting as I perform the spell.
Yes. All right.
I would say as soon as that starts happening, I think Felix would walk away, pull out a flask or something, and just kind of like, nope, absolutely not, nope.
Yeah. Anna has wariness, but fascination and interest.
Yes. Did you push your roll?
No.
Okay. So
No.
you just fail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably good. I mean,
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna
sometimes
be a
succeeding
little-
on a Cthulhu Mythos roll can really be super clutch. But sometimes it's also good just to not know about it. Awesome. So Elaine is chanting. you gain visions. You gain a vision of a world very much like ours, but deluged. A great, it's wet, decayed, but it is a fecund place. It is fertile. The remains of all human-made things serve as raw materials for a strange and wondrous new kind of life. A blackness that grows and consumes and corrupts. It is intelligent. It is crafty. It has consumed one world. And now, based on all that it has learned and absorbed, it seeks to consume another. You also, as a specific, these are visions. What comes to your mind is a name. You focus your attention on, this is all very, very interesting and troubling, but what's happening to Selene? But as you say that to yourself mentally, as you say her name to yourself mentally, your intent is to think Selene. But what you actually say to yourself is the Book of the Flood. The unconscious person before you is indeed Madame Selene. Probably super insane. Definitely now a cocaine addict. But she is simultaneously the Book of the Flood. Etched upon her body and soul by eldritch, unspeakable hands. She can be read. And as a bonus for rolling extremely well, you suspect there will be those who want to read her.
Well, you guys have certainly gotten yourselves into quite a bit of trouble. What exactly were you doing here?
I'm going to spin it directly at Jack. It's his fault.
Why is this my fault?
You did bring us an invitation.
Yeah, I brought you here because you asked me to find contacts. This was the only contact I found.
You know, just so it's noted, I was content to go home for the night. Here we are. We're doing some am I allowed to say? Is this a secret? Turn to Felix. Can we talk about it? We're doing something. We're doing a job, right?
I think under their circumstances, we can be a little frank.
I did save your lives.
You did. I just don't want Felix to get bad. I feel like we should talk, you know?
Keep it vague. I think it would be the safe thing to do.
For now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. For now. Turn back to Elaine. We've been led and tasked with investigation into some weird occults and murders lately. And at every step of our journey, we've faced multiple scenarios like this where it goes horribly awry. We're sent somewhere else, like our world, but not. Reality just kind of changes, and there's a lot of bad and harmful monsters, including the one that we're looking at. I guess, investigating. So this was a lead slash contact slash experience that hopefully will aid us, but I feel like we're just getting more questions and injuries and
Nightmares.
yeah.
Elaine, when Jack mentions nightmares, something clicks in your mind. You have had a recurring dream, and it's part of what drew you to Denver. Typical dream. I mean, pleasant, unpleasant, doesn't really matter. It can happen at any time. It doesn't happen every night. It's happened a few times now that in the midst of a typical dream, you look down, you feel odd, and you look down at yourself, and you simply begin to fall apart into pieces. It's not painful, but just a finger, an ear, a jaw, a leg, just pops off. And then you wake up. It's disturbing. And something about when Jack says nightmares, you have the intuition that your nightmare might be connected to this situation.
Well, I can tell you that what I saw was not pleasant. A being is seeking to consume this world. And my dear Madame Selene, in all of her genius attempts to contact things that she had best not attempt to contact, has also indirectly become the Book of the Flood. She can be read. I'm not entirely sure how. But if she can be read, somebody's going to want to read her, and we cannot assume that those people are going to be kind.
What is the Book of the Flood?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's a wonderful question. I do not know, and I'm not sure that we want to know.
Well, the players may not remember, but the characters certainly do. A certain person in the old miller's house, in the attic.
Yeah. He was screaming, flood, flood, flood. I'll turn to Felix. Do you think it's about the other flood that we kind of dealt with?
It might
The
just
guy-
be just blood of like the world. I mean, I don't really feel like it's just to this area.
Well, no, maybe not this area specifically, but if it is related and the same monster that did that and did this and wants to do more flooding, you said people will want to read her. Can you read and understand her?
Like I said, I'm not certain that I want to try. Whatever has touched her is not something that I typically deal with.
I think it was a giant tentacle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So we should hide her, right?
Probably.
I mean, we can keep her at the hotel with like a guard squad and then do some more. Is it nighttime?
Oh, yeah.
We came here at night, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we should go back to the hotel regardless. We have lodging if you want to hang out with us and we can talk maybe in more private quarters. Granted, our hotel is a little spooky and not the most secure, but it's better than standing on the lawn that was previously an ocean.
Yeah, I mean, if we work off the logic of once something happens there, it won't happen there again, think we might be fine. Now, we haven't obviously tested that, but,
I mean, lightning never strikes twice, except that it absolutely does.
Yeah, by that logic, we'd be safe here, but I don't ever want to be near this house again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felix, I think it would occur to you, I mean, you can do with this information whatever you want, but I think it would occur to you that if you're looking for a safe and secure and guarded place for Madame Selene, Mr. Forrest's mansion.
Mr. Foster.
Yeah, Mr. Forrest is skilled in medicine, and his place is quite secure.
The only thing that I think it would come up to Felix would be is if someone wants to read this girl, and Mr. Forrest is the one that sent us on a job, what if he's the one that wants to read her?
I mean, you can trust everyone, right?
Yeah. Trust them the first time until they do you wrong, right?
So it's just something that would probably occur to you, but you can say and do whatever you like.
Let's go ahead and take Madame Selene back to Mr. Forrester. I think that might be the best place for her to recover.
Yeah, he probably has better opium than I do. And
Yes.
if, for narrative's sake, we could leave Minnie and Arson with them.
Yeah.
And then they can look at Han, do whatever, and also stay with Selene just as a extra protection. Not that splitting the party is great, but in circumstances,
Yeah, and
it might be fantastic.
Yeah, I think Minnie probably really likes the idea of photographing this woman, and I think probably no one else wants to be there for that, based on prior experience. But Arson's hand is still kind of a prototype. There's still plenty of tinkering that needs to be done on it. So sure, we can say that you, maybe Jack goes and hails a carriage. You bundle Madame Selene into it and make your way relatively nearby. I mean, you could if you weren't having to carry an unconscious person, it would be an easy walk. But you take Madame Selene to Mr. Forrest's mansion. Knock on the door. A manservant, probably a name that you don't know, or someone that you've seen but haven't spoken to, Felix. Just someone who looks very much like a proper gentleman's valet or something, but you know to be armed. Will open the door, suspiciously eye you all, recognize you, Felix, and then kind of connect the dots and show you in. Elaine, this is not a place that you've been before. Roll occult for me, please.
Oh,
You're good.
okay. 25 out of 75.
Ooh, hard success. Love it. So as you cross the threshold, you feel something. And that makes you cast your eyes around. You're not sure what you're looking for. Oh, but there it is. In the carving above the mantle for the fire. Oh, there's another worked into the pattern of the silk wallpaper. Oh, there in the parquet floor. This entire house is covered in arcane sigils, disguised as decor, objet d'art. It is extremely well warded. From within and from without. based on the degree of success, I would say you are not certain precisely whether it's designed to keep something out or in or both.
Good location. Then.
But yes, you can confirm that Felix's instinct that this might be a safe place or safer than a random hotel room. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Who did you say this house belonged to?
Mr. Forrester?
Jeremiah Forrest. And who might you be, ma'am? This is a handsome gentleman, kind of in his shirt sleeves, but just pulling on a smoking jacket to make himself presentable, comes clomping down the stairs.
Yes, my name is, call me Elaine.
Ah, pleasure to meet you. And he gives you, his eye lingers on you perhaps a moment longer than is comfortable. But not in the way you're used to.
Mm.
Ah, well. What do you have to support? And who is this unconscious? Is that Madame Selene? Oh, bring her into the parlor.
Yeah, long story. We need help.
Well, those are the terms of our agreement. Tell me what's happened, and if I can assist, I will.
Well, you see, when you do a seance, Felix, how would you describe it?
So more or less, when it comes down to it, so Jack here was like, "Hey, let's go to this seance." And so we were like, "Okay, I guess we should probably go do that." We went and did the seance. This lady here that's unconscious with all the tattoos over her currently did not have the tattoos all over her currently. When we were doing the seance, she looked into the crystal ball. She started mumbling and like saying things like backwards, almost kind of all jumbled up. And then she kind of flew towards the back of the wall and then split up it into the corner. And then like it kind of got kind of hazy from there, but I think she like screamed or said some other things, and then she just kind of fell unconscious onto the ground. Of course, everybody started panicking, and then there was like a mist that rose out of the ground. So I picked her up and put her on the table. I figured to get her out of the mist. I jumped up on the table because I don't want to be in the mist.
Sensible.
Well, then everybody ran out of the room except Jack, Anna, me, and her. And next thing you know, all the doors are gone, and we're in an ocean, and the table is a floating boat. And then apparently Anna said there was some type of monster of some sort. And then there was a cloud in front of us, and it looked like Denver, and then we just jumped through the cloud, and then we were free falling, and we fell onto the table,
And
then the tattoos appeared. Yeah, and Jack, well, yeah. And then,
Yeah, so
and then the tattoos
totally
appeared.
normal seance things.
Yeah, and then the tattoos appeared, and then now we're here.
I've been to a few seances myself. It doesn't sound entirely like what might expect in the typical seance. Usually it's some sort of mechanical contraption to falsify the sounds of spirit rapping or vague production of ectoplasm or some other nonsense.
That sounds lovely. This was my first time.
I think it was
Hated it.
intended.
Well, they're not all
to
like
be
this, apparently. Yes, Anna.
Oh, I think it was intended to be that, but early on, right before she became possessed and got flung/thrown into the corner, she made contact with something, and I'm pretty sure it's exactly the monster that we've been hunting down.
Ah.
just a different name.
Yes.
And
Felix
he
told me
came with,
about the experience that you had down by the old Miller's place. Was this
yeah,
similar?
yes.
Hmm. So, what insight can you offer me about the nature of our foe?
Lost
It's-
water.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely supernatural in nature, and it has an ability, I guess you can call it, of just taking body parts as we've seen in the corpses. And give a kind of like a side eye to Arson's hand.
He's too
And
much of a gentleman to ask. Why do you think it does this?
I don't know, but because she said, I'll pull out the bandages. I have it touched my shoulder and it left these behind. And
You,
it seems like it's just piecing itself together with others. This part is a little fuzzy still.
as soon as you produce the bandage, you see his eyes go straight for it. And he strides forward and pulls it out of your hand and examines it very closely. He smells it. And then he, interesting, puts it inside his jacket pocket. So you think that it's taking body parts to put itself together.
In a way, because when it's this again, this part's still hazy. We've killed one potentially when we were in the morgue, right? Because didn't we? It fell to pieces, like it shattered, and all of the body parts it had acquired just kind of like came off of it.
Yeah, that was my impression. It looked like we stopped that one.
But there's no
Felix,
guarantee that it was.
Felix, have you withheld any details from Mr. Forrest?
You're muted.
I would say no.
Okay. I mean, you may not have shared everything, but you haven't intentionally withheld anything.
Sure.
So Mr. Forrest will look at you and say, and that is at the morgue is when you became infected, yes?
Yeah. I think it also wants to kill / obtain me, but that I don't know why. I have no
Oh,
answers for that
I
one.
wouldn't worry about that too much. All right. Well, shall we suppose that our enemy is from elsewhere? Perhaps its ability to do whatever it wants here is somewhat limited, and it needs, well, to build itself a body. That seems consistent with your observations and suppositions. And if it is mortally wounded, it has a ability to pass a seed of itself on to others. Perhaps spread. You seem to have either the best damn luck in the world or somehow to be incompatible with it. Others, if I deduce correctly, glancing down at Arson's hand, might not be so lucky. So, that means that there's perhaps one or more of these enemies, at least one of which, according to Felix, has succeeded in incorporating itself. To what end, I do not know. If its goal is to simply spread, then we should see the present horrors multiply. If, however, its goal is otherwise, well, let's just say if I were infiltrating an enemy camp, and he says that in a way that suggests that he knows exactly what infiltrating an enemy camp is, I might want to lie low, having achieved my first objective of disguise and infiltration. I might seek to avoid detection, while the next part of my plan was set in motion. Now, I don't know anything that you haven't told me, so I don't know which it is, but I can say with some degree of certainty that our mission is not complete. Now, you are the trained investigators. You are the ones with the, and then he'll pause a moment and look at Elaine. Particular skills required to see to this threat, and I would say, if nothing else, the stakes have only risen. Elaine, was it?
Yes.
Just to catch you up, these fine folks are in my employ. I am prepared to make you an equally generous offer.
I'm listening.
$20 now. 200 upon completion. With the promise of additional material aid should you need it. I assume you want me to take care of poor Madame Selene. That's why you brought her here.
Yes, please. And Minnie and Arson are gonna hang out too and take a look at his hand and try to tinker with that.
Yes, I think Miss Minnie is I'm going to need Miss Minnie's assistance. There are,
Photographing.
yes, I think using your wonderful device, but also just in general, your proficiency for experimental science might be of benefit. And meanwhile, Arson is sitting there, his hands kind of twitching. It's like, and we probably should see to that too. I'm sure there's a fantastic story behind that. Yeah, so I think Mr. Arson and Miss Minnie will stay with me to safeguard poor Madame Selene and to help me with one line of inquiry, as the four of you act as field agents. And Arson wants me deal with that hand. I'm sure you'll be anxious to get back out into the streets with your friends, won't you? And Arson's just like, no. Oh, but you will. Like in approximately 1 week. You're going to be back out there. Enjoy. Excellent. Well, have you eaten?
No, not since
no,
well
no.
before the seance.
I don't think anyone's eaten since
Well-
the breakfast we threw up.
Well, I have, and I'm quite tired, and I have a patient I need to see too, so I suggest you order a late supper at the hotel. I'm sure they're still serving.
Okay,
Sounds like a great idea. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Excellent.
Say a goodbye to Minnie and Arson.
Yes. Minnie will side-eye you when you say goodbye to Arson, expecting some sort of profession of love.
Like
'Cause Minnie's-
hidden handhold or
Yeah,
something.
Minnie is super convinced you two are an item.
It just makes the goodbye really awkward. They're like, we'll talk later.
You go to shake hands, and it's like, I don't want to shake that hand. It's like awkward left handshake.
I don't think the hand would scare Anna.
Yeah, but
She'd
it's like
shake
it might crush your hand because it's like it's
Oh, that's
twitching and
fair.
stuff. It needs some adjustment.
Oh yeah, gotta work out the springs.
It also may not have reacted well to the break in reality that you guys fell through. I mean, who knows, right?
Sentient hands. What?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So, Elaine. Oh, just a moment before I forget. He goes over to a bureau, pulls out a folio, opens it up, writes you a check for $20. Which, by the way, a lot of money.
Yeah. Take that. Get away.
Yes. So, what happens?
Jack heads back to the hotel to go get dinner and at least one very stiff drink.
Yeah. We'll get you set up, Elaine. You can take Minnie's bed since she won't be there.
Well, thank you.
Over there in the corner is where the hand crawled underneath the dresser and then unfolded into an eldritch beast.
If you see any mice, they're not mice. Just go. The other way is optional, and it's a good option.
And you're like,
And if they start unfolding, you really need to get out.
what's all this faintly glowing blue powder all over the bed? Don't worry about it. It's just radium.
I'm sure room service came during the day, cleaned up.
No. It's fine. No. Down there is the bathroom where Arson's hand fell off.
If you want to use a different floor bathroom, just do that.
But maybe not the top floor because that's where it killed the maid. So
Did we get a different hotel, you guys?
this is literally the best one in town.
Oh no.
And the only one that isn't, or I should say wasn't haunted. Because it's brand new. This is the Cambridge Hotel. Which in this alternate reality is the same as the Oxford Hotel, which is like one of the fantastic old hotels in.
We just ruin everything we touch. That's really all it comes down to.
Basically.
Yeah, it wasn't haunted until we got here.
Right. So yes, put out staff at the attached restaurant who were looking forward on a weekday night of closing up. We'll serve you a meal. You're all at a table.
This is just painfully true to real life.
Right. So what's the discussion? What's the plan? What happens?
Well, first, we should Anna will look over at the guys down at the food and then up at Elaine and be like, well, as not fun as these circumstances have been, I do want to give a genuine thanks for saving us back there.
Of course.
I am curious if you're able and willing to share how you got there or knew to be there. I understand trusting strangers is hard. Granted, we're also trusting you as well. But you did save our lives, and I am grateful for it. So please don't think I'm trying to pry or attack you. I'm curious how you're involved in this.
I mean, I suppose you've already basically seen some of what I can do, but I've had abilities, I guess you could say, since I was a child. Premonitions, otherworldly senses, the type of thing that your usual seances touch on, but real. I had an inkling of a feeling that Madame Selene, who is, as I know, to be a dabbler in arts that I prefer to stay away from for the very reason that she exhibits now upon her skin. So, somebody would likely be in danger, something was happening, it drew me to Madame Selene's, and then I found the crystal ball, you all were trapped inside it, and I got you out. But I do have a question for you all, and it's particularly concerning your friend who just lost a hand. You said something about the creatures taking parts in your sleep?
It's not always sleep. So, we were originally tasked to investigate the murders of some, they were disappearances at first, and then we found some bodies, visited morgues and crime scenes, and these bodies were also missing pieces. Our friend Arson just earlier fell asleep in the bath, and we were attacked by the creature. from different sides, but it just takes them. It's not like they cut it off. Like he has a perfectly fine stump. It's just missing the hand.
Do you mention the mold?
Oh yeah.
Because remember
Sure.
his hand was injured. So
Yeah, and I'll mention that and say, like, going back to the Miller's house, there was covered in mold and they were screaming, and there's a man like mold glued to the ceiling who kept yelling flood after he vomited all over some of us. That was really gross. Oh, and then we were throwing. Oh yeah, it was just a really gross time. But
are you?
yeah, Arson got cut trying to break us out and get us out of there, and I think maybe some of the mold got into his hand. I'm not sure if that means it's just a catalyst for it, if it's like a tracking device, and if that's so, then the vials of mold I have in my bag are suddenly very concerning.
Yeah. Elaine, you have a flashback to that vision from your augury of a world flooded, decayed, covered in creeping darkness, the mold.
Yeah, I think you're right on with assuming that the mold is very intricately tied to this. And my vision, I saw it, but it was everything, not just covering some things.
Oh. Have my samples changed any? I want to take a peek at them. Is it still just gross mold?
You haven't looked in a couple of days. It's fine black powder now. It's lost its form.
Oh. Well, a few days ago, this was the mold.
Interesting.
So, I mean, tonight we can't do anything else. But tomorrow, where should we start, you guys? What are we doing?
I mean, I guess we could take Elaine back to the house, the creepy guy.
Oh,
I
the
mean,
Miller's
yeah,
house.
yeah, Miller's house. Yeah, we could go back
Yeah,
there.
there are Madame Celine's. I mean, those are the only two locations that we have any tangible link to the flood, right?
Yeah.
Correct. I'm gonna say it's that, or we can go to the morgue where we saw the monster originally. Go to
I mean,
that spot.
I think by this point, the morgue, that was more of just like where the bodies
Huh.
were. That good, the bodies that we casually put back into the little body holders and left the scene after giving my real name to the guard. I don't think we should go to the morgue. Granted, at the mention of going back to the Miller's house, Anna gets really pale and like gags a little, thinking of the wagon ride home. That being said, I think I agree with you, and I did want to do some more research. So maybe if we can like swing by a Publix record facility on the way there, I would like to get some written information as well. But again, Anna's like, ugh.
So
So the other
good.
thing, the other thing we could show Elaine is Minnie's photos that she takes with that creepy powder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the photos are still here.
So
Minnie shook her case with her, and may like may need to get the remaining supplies that are in the room later, but the photos are still here. So it sounds like the plan is to do a little bit of research. Thank goodness you're all so good at library use. To do a little bit of research to follow up on Anna's hunch that understanding more about what happened at the old mill at some point in the past might offer a clue. And also to enable Elaine to examine Minnie's photos and to bring Elaine and her extra senses to bear on the Miller's house to see if there are any clues that perhaps in your terrified flight from the Can Johnny Come Out to Plays and the Mother May Eyes might in light of day you might find more. So excellent. So I will say we close as you all go back up to your rooms across from the hall from each other. Felix and Jack in one room, Elaine and Anne in the other. I think Felix probably makes Jack sleep in Arson's bed. Elaine in Minnie's. And we, although your minds are not settled by any means, you have the advantage of exhaustion. A lot has happened today. So 3 of you fall surprisingly quickly into a deep, dreamless sleep. 1 of you, however, stays awake a bit longer, staring at these faintly glowing photographic plates, the lines of eldritch energy that they reveal, and wonder. And we'll close there. Awesome. Well, thanks, Tuff, for joining us. Like legit perfect timing. Like it was
That was amazing.
Yeah, it's about as
absolutely
good as it
perfect
could
timing.
be.
By which I mean, no, we planned it before. It was all
Yeah.
stage management, 100%.
Yeah,
I was waiting in the
Tough.
wings.
Tuff and I were drive-by texting like, okay, make your move to point A.
Right. Awesome. Cool. Well, with that, hey, we'll start with you, Tuff. Let everyone know who you are, where they can find you.
All right, cool. I am 90 Tough Love, Tough Torpin, some other variety of nickname. You can usually find me here. I play a bunch of games here. I've also started picking up streaming a little bit more over on my channel at 98 Tough Love, doing some spooky horror games for Halloween. So that is something to look forward to. Go Villain.
Name is Your Only Villain or Villain. You can find me here at Plus Content or Juice's channel, some other channels around Twitch. Yeah. Pete?
I'm Katie, or Katie1W22. I can be found here, Tuff's channel, Juice's channel, any other channels, people who stream and hang out in the lovely community. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Erthos.
Hey everybody, I'm Erthos or Lord Erthos. You can see me here on C Plus Content, friends of the stream including Juice and Tuff, and anybody else who hangs out in chat. If you stream, I'll probably be in your channel at some point or another. That's it for me. 0.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for coming and playing. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to kind of review all the rules and stuff. So thanks especially, Tuff, for just like walking in and going, I don't know the system, but I'm game. So awesome sauce. I will obviously do a little bit more preamble next time. We plan to just kind of continue the story and see where it rolls. And as we now have a bit of an expanded cast of characters, it's kind of episodic, so people can kind of come in and come out as schedules allow. So anticipate this crew and others to kind of just like pop up and go on missions and see what happens. And then when they go irretrievably insane and become Cthulhu cultists, they'll just become part of the bad guys. It's fine. As things happen. So
imagine the character tension
exactly.
and drama.
And I'm sure we're going to definitely watch Anna and Elaine fall in love. But anyway, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Cool. Yeah, so we're gonna say goodbye to our friends on YouTube, and then we'll come back here and raid out. I wonder where we'll go. So awesome. Well, thanks everyone, and see you again soon.